What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Zary, and before we get into the video, I just want to remind everybody, if you're under level 15 and you want $10 worth of free stuff, go to your settings, go to use promo code, and type in XMGGift. You do that, you'll get $10 worth of free stuff. It helps support the channel. So if you're under level 15, make sure you're using that promo code XMGGift. Enjoy the video. Alright everybody, we are back. And we are here for 30 through 21 in the worst to first. And I announced the giveaway in the last video, so we're going to continue that. You can enter once per video. And for this video, I want you to use the keyword battle poo in some sort of cool little nifty way. I don't think battle poo gets the recognition he deserves, so use battle poo in a sentence and that'll enter you for the giveaway. And we are going to start with number 30 here with Rantha. And Rantha is here because you get her early and you use her, but she's really here because she has a lead. Might of the Clans. It's an all-encompassing lead, and it's really one of the only ones we see for the clans. And you can pretty much put anybody in there and make it work. You get physical and magic damage by 25%. That's really solid. All orcs gain lifesteal, crit damage for all allied goblins, and the pride get 5% tenacity. So the only thing we're not really seeing is demons, and that's okay because there's some pretty solid leads for demons out there, pretty obtainable. But that's really what makes her number 30 for me, is simply this move. I mean, she drops battle poo for the off tank. Her one move here, the Hunter's Volley, is exceptional versus the dragon in the raids, so that's something we want to keep in mind. But her move kit is just kind of like blasé, but it's that leadership, that what she brings to the game, and that leadership is huge. I mean, looking at her stats here, her speed is very respectable at 149, so you can have her go early and often to drop battle poo down, so that's a plus. But her health and shield combination is 31k at gear 11. That is atrocious. So she's extremely squishy, and then battle poo gets his health from her. So that's really rough. Physical damage isn't bad, 2,800. You know, not the best, not the worst, but the one thing that really just boggles my mind, and I'm going over to make sure I get the number right, she has 47 potency to start. She doesn't require potency in any of her move kits, so I don't know why it's there. But Rantha at 30, she needs to be in that top tier because she is your plug-and-play lead, and it has to be that way, and it's just extremely beneficial. 29, Patriarch. Patriarch, I believe, got a little bit better with his rework and his moves. You know, guaranteed the healing, really beneficial, but his lead is still sorely just missing an actual healer. You know, when we look at his lead, all allied healing abilities apply a shield equal to that of the health healed, of 45%. So you could put a Roxy, even though she's clans in there. You could put Selena in that team, Solius, but the pandas just need a healer to really gel that team together, and we could talk on that for a while. Giving the... where is it? The tactics now? Is that what it's called? Not that move. Self-control. That self-control move is really good, and it applies to all order. It's not just 4 anymore, so all the order are going to get that self-control, and that really helps out greatly. He still is the soft dispeller, exceptional. But she can be plug and played because of the restore of the shield. He can put on that self-control regardless of it when he's with pandas. His lead is a little bit diminishing, but he has some areas that need to get fixed, and you know, his speed is just really bad at 127. I mean, that is just awful. But his health and shield combination at gear 11 are over 50k, so he is survivable. And if you're looking to add some survivability to your team, she can be plug and played in that, like that. I mean, he's an exceptional character. You got the dispel, very, very beefy. You know, you're not looking for him to do damage. His damage is 2600, but he's not there for the damage. He's a support character. He's labeled a healer. I wish they'd have another tag for support, because he would be one of the best in the game. So 28 Hardwork, speaking of support characters. And Hardwork has fallen down my list, but he's still really, really good. His move kit alone is just amazing. He applies bleeding on his A1, so he can fit into that bleed team. He deals 200 physical damage to all enemies, but then he has a 70% chance to inflict ability block. Ability block is just devastating to rotations and teams. And here he gains cheat death, regeneration, damage increase to 4 allies. If this was the whole team, he'd be higher on the list, but that's why he's right where he is because it's not team-wide, and it should be team-wide. His passive ability removes 1 debuff from 4 random allies at the start of his turn. Should be the full team, but that passive dispel is absolutely amazing. Really, really makes a difference, you know, for that orc team. And he can be plug and played. It's all allies. It's not just orcs or anything like that. So his plug and play viability is very, very solid. His speed is only 145, so that is you want him to go as fast as you can possibly get him, so he's getting those turns and dispelling your team. So not horrendous by any stretch. You know, he's not Patriarch cheese slow, but that is kind of middle of the ground. Health and shield combination is 46,000, almost 47,000. Not horrendous for like a support character, and you can get him over that 50-55 threshold pretty easily with secondary stats. It's not anything you really need to focus on with like a primary stat. Maybe put health down here, but you could go health or shield down here. Really, what gives you the better secondaries? And I got my guy at 204 speed, and I'm missing some speed in some areas. Like no speed here, no speed there. So I could get him even faster. Only 2 speed down here. So I got some rerunning to do, as you all have seen throughout this whole video. His potency is another troubling area. It's at 18, and you got to put a potency set on this guy because he's going through 2 potency tenacity checks for that ability block, so you want to hit that. But the fact of the matter is, Hardwork dispels by doing nothing, giving you some heals, giving you a damage increase, giving you cheat death, potential for ability block, and then doing a little extra on his basic when everything's on cooldown, putting that bleed up. He can synergize with the Snorri Revol combination, Titania, you know, people who benefit from the bleed, Zira. So it helps out, and that's why Hardwork is there. 27 is Little Baddie. Little Baddie has fallen down the list for me. She is still a very, very good tank defender, but as we're seeing like Arnold, Titania come into the game, she's just slowly going down, and I think I overvalued her a little bit when I put Titania under her on the defenders, and you know, she is really, really good for that early mid-game, late mid-game, early end-game Soleus comp. She does some things. I mean, she dispels on her shield throw, which is the wrong move. So, you know, she does dispel on that, gaining her taunt. So that's a really solid move. She can put up blind, but it's only at 30%. So I'd like to see that go maybe 50%. Her flawless defense, Little Baddie survives a fatal blow. That's really nice for a tank. But she only recovers 30% a shield to 30% of her maximum health, so you really want to get that health up there. But just as the game continues to evolve, Little Baddie just kind of goes down the list. And like I said, I overvalued her for the defenders, for sure. And I still love Little Baddie. I think she's a great defender character. But she's deserved here because she does, when you get her and you can complete that Soleus human team, it's a good feeling. And she will help carry you for a while until you get that Titania, or you move on from the Soleus comp itself, you know, Kyra even. So she does kind of fall off there. Her speed's at 115, which isn't bad for a defender. Health and shield combination, 60k. But her health, right? We have to worry about her health here on this flawless defense where we get 30% of her maximum health. Well, her health's only at 24k, where her shield's at 35k. So, you know, that's where you really want that health everywhere you can get it. Health down here, health in the secondaries on stats with a little bit of health set. So that is kind of where you want her. You're not really looking for her to do a crazy amount of damage. Her potency is at 27. You are going to need potency, so I did put in one potency set. And you could go, you know, I went armor, health, and potency on mine. But you could go 2 healths and a potency to get that fatal blow to go up. So it's how you want to play her. There is no definitive way to ruin this character. But, you know, the fact that she dispels on her shield throw. You know, I didn't even mention, but she does have turn meter reduction on her basic. It'd be much better if she was guaranteed turn meter reduction, but I understand the mechanics that kind of go into that one, so I kind of give that one a pass. But the more potency you can put on her, the better. So Little Baddie does some really good things, and she's deserving of where she's at. Next up is Instructor Gore Ram, and Instructor Gore Ram's, this was before the half pigs were brought into the game. But he's only going to get better now that the half-pigs are there, because he was given a leadership for the half-pigs. So he's a miniature General Murdoch with the assists. Tenacity is kind of blasé, but the half-pigs, from what I've played around with, they require each other. But that, like I said, I made this list before then. And Instructor Gore Ram, besides the General Murdoch lead, could be the most important part to that team before he was being pulled off of it, right? Because of his basic ability. Basic ability, if he crits, he gives Adam taunt. He makes Adam viable in the game. Adam can be an SOB to deal with sometimes. And Gore Ram only makes it better for him. So, you know, putting it on his basic is just genius, in my opinion. Because he assists, he gets a crit. Even if it's for 2 damage, but it's a crit, he's putting that taunt up. Makes that squishy faction really, really good. And, you know, you can run that team without Dr. Frank. It's harder, but you can. But running that team without Gore Ram, you can walk over that team like that. I would rather fight a Gore Ramless, if that makes sense, General Murdoch team than a Dr. Frankless one. Because without Gore Ram, you can pick and choose who you want. And it's gone. Now, Adam's going to put up his taunt here or there. But one dispel, say you take in more Doom and you dispel Adam, you got free ring till Adam goes again. If you do that, and then Gore Ram goes or assists on the next move, the taunt's right back up, so it's a wasted ability. So he's just exceptional in that aspect for me. 25, Nigel. Nigel deserves to be where she's at. At 25, I think she is in the top quarter of this game. Pair her with Soleus. She and Soleus have the best synergy in the game. 100%. Gore Ram and Adam are right there. But you put her with Soleus and something is different about that. The damage seems to increase. They just benefit each other so well. And when you look at her, you know, she removes 1 buff from herself or debuff from herself and Soleus, and then removes 1 buff from an enemy. And if Soleus is on the battlefield, she removes 2 buffs. I mean, it neuters the Tromgars of the world. They throw up their counter chance and taunt. She goes, it's gone. Now, she would have probably been even higher, but this used to be when this game first started, it was before she went. Now it's after she went. So when it was before, it was so much even more OP. She's giving the team a damage increase, all allies, so regardless of who she's with, putting it up there. She has the ability block on her A2, her Veil of Silence, so that is awesome. And then she has 50% chance to pierce the shield. Sweet. Her move kit is built very well. Now, when you're looking at her stats, 140 for a mage. It's on the low end for a mage, right? Her health and shield combination is almost 46k, but again, you can get her over that 50k threshold fairly easy. And, you know, her magic damage is just exceptional. 33, almost 3,400 to start. That is on the high end for the game. And her potency is 37. So she's kind of built almost perfectly for what you want her to do. You want her to go often. So her speed, you can get her up to that 190 mark, right in that area, isn't horrendous. But what kind of benefits her is you kind of want the team to go first, so they put up those debuffs so she can strip them. Because if she goes before there's any debuffs, it's kind of a wasted passive. But I guess that's 6 to 1 and half dozen to the other. But 24, Boris. I've grown to love Boris. I try to fit him into the tournament teams when I can. This guy can nuke. Flat out nuke. Because his physical damage to start is only 3,000. And you're like, well, that's not that high. But he just... Right here. He increases physical damage by 10% for each living pride in the party. So, that's huge. If Kagi's on the battlefield, they gain the armor increase, so he's helping out his survivability. Because the survivability is at 44, almost 45k, so he is a little bit squishy, just like any pride character. Then, he gives himself crit damage increase, a damage increase, and haste for 2 turns. And then Kagi gets the same buff, recovers 30% turn meter. It's kind of a waste, but it allows you to do different things with his runes. You could put speed on him, because his speed is a very healthy 159. So you can make him even faster on that aspect. Or you could go crit chance and crit damage and just up it. So he does give you some options there. His basic ability is the only one I really don't care for. If the target is the lowest health in the party, he does 250 instead. I wish there was something else, like instead of that, maybe just give him like 220 physical damage and have Kagi assist or something, like a 50% chance to call on Kagi to assist. Something like that would be a little bit more beneficial, but that's really all I can complain about here, because deals 300 physical damage and inflicts 2 stacks of bleeding. You put this up, you put up his wind power, and then you cycle back through with his wounding arrow. I mean, I've seen it hit for like 33k. Alright, coming in at 23 is Kyra. And Kyra could be higher on people's lists or lower. And she was a top 20 character for me. And I almost flip-flopped her and Boris. Because the change to her Go Dark ability, where it invisible to all mages. You put her with a Pride comp under a Shadar lead, and it's exceptional. Because if Shadar gets it, Radash gets it, things like that. Even more Doom, Cruel, you know, it's there. So it's not as powerful as it once was, but it's still very powerful because it's really providing you some survivability for squishy characters. So her surprise attack increases damage by 25% and potency by 25%, which is fantastic because her potency to start is, let me look at my sheet here, 36. And on her basic ability, she has a 50% chance for ability block. Pretty damn solid. Then her AoE, 30% chance for daze. Daze and ability block are strong abilities. The chances to get them are low, but the fact that she's increasing her potency by 25% when she's invisible is really, really big. So, and Venomate gets that too, helps out Venomate. She has the Venomate synergy. It's just not nice that Venomate's really not the best character in the world. 22, Slinger. Slinger took a little bit of a nerf, but he's still exceptional. He is a very, very viable lead. All allied demons gain 20% of their max health. Every time an ally suffers a critical hit, all allies recover 5% turn meter. Allied demons recover twice the amount. So demons are recovering 10% of their turn meter when you're critical hit. But what really makes him in the top quarter is because it's all allies. It doesn't matter if they're order or clans. It does not matter. You're still getting 5% turn meter on a crit. So if somebody AoEs crits everybody, 25% turn meter is forced back to your team. It can really screw up how you fight a Slinger-led team. You know, his passive ability gains a damage increase, crit chance increase, and a crit damage increase for 1 turn at the end of his turn. So he's always upping his damage, he's always upping his crit chance. And his cannonball ability is where he took the nerf, because it's not the dispel anymore. It's just, you know, I gotta get rid of the crit chance runes that I have on this character, because that's not as important, because it used to be when he crits he could dispel. Well, now he's just doing 250. This attack deals 40% more additional crit damage to his enemies, so you still want him to crit, and his crit chance is 30%. So instead of 2 on there, maybe you go 1, 2 potencies and a crit chance. You could go damage and a crit chance, but he is giving himself the increase, so it's something to consider. There's options there. You could go speed on him. So, you know, there's plenty of stuff. He 370 physical damage and removes 1 buff on a critical hit. So, yes, you want the crit chance like I was saying, but he's only removing 1 now. So you get his crit chance, he starts at 30, you get his crit chance up to 45, 50%, 1-2 shot really of it happening. Awesome. And the cooldown. You're only removing 1 on a 3-turn cooldown, so do you really want to focus that much on it? And then his basic ability, 50% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 10%. Wish that was a little higher on the reduction of turn meter, but again, it's Slinger's leadership, and you can plug and play him. He is a great leadership for battlegrounds on both offense and defense. So Slinger can bring some things to the table, and he's really good. He is just really good. Finishing off this video at number 21 is Arnold, and Arnold is a beast. So why isn't he in my top 20? Well, let's start off. Arnold has a 103 speed. He's a defender. Okay. 71k health and shield combo at gear 11. Unbelievable. I mean, he is just a monster, right? Then his physical and magic armor. Almost 40% physical armor and 33, almost 34% magic armor. Definitely can work with those. You can get them both over 40, no problem. And the rest of the stats, you really don't care about. But the reason Arnold falls out of the top 20 is, I mean, he's a meat shield, and that's why he is at 21. But the reason he's not in the top 20 is, let's take a look at his move kit. Sacrifices 20% of his current health. If there is more than 1 goblin in the party at the start of the turn, he applies shield to all goblins equal to 40% of the sacrificed health. Applies haste to Arnold and allied goblin rangers for 2 turns at the start of the battle. Okay, that's not a bad passive. He has an extremely beefy health pool at 41k before runes. Try if you dare. He gains taunt, recovers 5% health for each living goblin in the party, so you're putting on a 3-turn cooldown after he sacrifices that health, you're healing himself. And he restores 5% turn meter for each living goblin to the party if Sergeant Pigwald's in the battlefield. Okay. But what does he do after that? Launches 4 rockets at enemies, dealing 160 physical damage. Every subsequent hit on the same target has an 80% chance to inflict healing block for 2 turns. Okay, so he's a mini AoE, right? But you need to hit a target, and then hit him again, and then you got to go through 2 potency tenacity checks to get the heal block to go. That's a lot of crap to go through to get heal block. So essentially, you can't count on that. You can't count on RNGesus every single time. And then on his basic, deals 260 physical damage to an enemy. If the target is above 50% health, half the damage penetrates the shield. While dealing damage with this ability, Arnold has a 60% chance to gain an accuracy increase. You see defenders with move kits that benefit them as a defender. You know, those 2 moves are just like an absolute waste to me. I mean, okay, so if you have to have the target above 50% health, right? And then he has a 60% chance to gain an accuracy increase and apply it to all allied goblin rangers for 1 turn. Again, RNGesus needs to bless Arno to make things happen. But the reason Arno is 21 is because when you put him in that team and he gets his taunt up, good luck killing the guy. You better have AoE teams if you see Arno. Because if you don't, and you're trying to take him on with single target damage dealers, you're going to die. Because the fight's going to go on forever in a day. So, that's why he's there. I just don't understand those first 2 moves. I'd like to see him benefit something more than what they do. So my YouTube family, there it is. There is 30 through 21 of the worst to first. So let me know again in the comments what you think. And if you want to enter the account, sit down with me where I, if you didn't hear, it's 30-minute session. We'll set it up over Discord or Skype or, whatever you want. And I can make it into a video if you choose. And you can just pick my brain about whatever you want to about your account, your runes, where you should focus. We can fight battles together and tweak as we go to try to increase, to get through those levels. So you run the train and I just help out. And if you're interested in that, make sure you're leaving a comment that has the word battle poo. Use hashtag battle poo because then I can sort it easier. How about that? So that is what I got for everybody today. If you're just finding me for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It means the world to me. And all of my XMG family members out there, I love you. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.